I'm a Dr. Nada, and today we're gonna mod Starfield to make our very own script and play a custom sound when your character starts sneaking. Specifically, by Vectera! For step 1, we're going to get the sound that we want and convert it to a format that will be usable by Wwise and CK. Wwise is a tool that Starfield uses to manage the in-game sounds. We'll use the adoring fan saying "By Vectera" when his moment comes in the mod. And I've already gone and converted this to MP3. This mod is themed around work destruction because I'm a pathologist. We're basically shedding the adoring fan like work debris. For part A, we need to download Audacity. Download it from the link in the video description and install it. For part B, we convert our audio file to WAV format using Audacity. Open Audacity, then open your MP3 file or whatever other format it might be in. Then go to Export as WAV and save your new WAV file. Great! Now that we have our sound file converted to WAV format, we can start getting Wwise set up for step 2. This is where we actually get our sound ready for Starfield. This process takes a little more time because you have to get approval to use the Starfield license in Wwise, which is free. But fortunately, less time than it takes to get certified to read warts under the microscope, which looks like this. So a bunch of layers are going out. For part A, visit the Audiokinetic website accessible via the link in the video description and then create an account. Then start downloading the Audiokinetic launcher, which will give us access to Wwise. For part B, we need to request access to the Starfield project, which will give us access to the license key. I was granted access the same day, but it might take longer depending on when you request it. To do this, go to the Audiokinetic school link in the video description, search for Starfield, so the Starfield option, and then click Request Access. Part C, once you're approved, which will last for 3 months, copy the license key for your modding project. Paste it into a text file somewhere convenient and save it. While you can't paste the key directly into Wwise, I frequently had to re-enter it. The file makes it a lot easier than having to go back onto the website. On to step 3, we're gonna get Wwise working so our sound is accessible in Creation Kit. There is one sensitive step which I'll emphasize, and you can also refer to in the text tutorial that I've made available in the pinned comment. So we'll be careful, like making sure only someone who's trained freezes off your wart using liquid nitrogen, which forms a blister to force that wart to shed. For part A, launch the Wwise launcher. Install Wwise 2021.1, which is required for Starfield. You'll find the place to do that on the Wwise tab, and then change Install a new version to show all versions and select the 2021.1 version. For part B, launch the Starfield project file, which is going to be located at the path on the screen and in the video description. I'll hold here in case you want to pause. It may prompt you to verify integrity issues after you launch it, so just click accept. And once Wwise launches, it may prompt you to enter your license, but if not, go to Project and select License Manager. Then click the Import License button and choose your saved text file. Then click Save. For part C, we'll import our sound. On the audio page, right-click on the actor mixer hierarchy and create a new physical folder, naming it Creations. Then, right-click on the Creations button and create a new work unit, naming it something you'll remember, which will be our mod name here. Since our adoring fan wart will help us destroy our enemies with cryo grenades, we'll call it Wart Destroyer. With that work unit highlighted, you can drag your WAV file into the mod work unit. It will create a window that lists your file and sets the destination. Leave the default settings and click Import. You should have what is shown here at the end, and be sure to save by clicking Ctrl S. For part D, we're going to make sure that our sound plays properly in the game. Double-click on the imported WAV file. At the General tab, turn on both Use Game Defined Aux Sends and Stream. Then in the Positioning tab, set 3D Spatialization to Position and Orientation. For part E, we'll create our Wwise event, which will show up in CK. go to the Events tab, then right-click on Events and create a new physical folder called Creations like before. Then right-click on that to create a new work unit titled after your mod. You should have what is on the screen. For part F, right-click on your mod name in Events to create a new Wwise event, choosing Play. I like to include an underscore in the event name to position it at the top of the list in CK. You should be left with what is shown here. In a new window, right-click the target field and click Browse. Then expand your mod folder and select your imported sound as shown. You should have the following. For part sheet, we're gonna make our sound bank, which is the most sensitive step. Go to the Sound Banks tab, right-click on Sound Banks, and then create a new physical folder called Creations. Right-click on it and create a new work unit, titling it something convenient, such as your mod name. You should have something like this. Now, we have to be careful. This is the sensitive step. Right-click the work unit and create a new sound bank. Make sure to name it exactly the same as your planned mod name without the ESP extension. Starfield is case sensitive here, so double check spelling to avoid any errors. And remove any leading numbers or hyphens in the name in case you put something like a number ahead of the actual mod name for CK. For part H, we will bring our files into the sound bank. Double click on it and then drag your audio folder for the mod and the event folder for the mod into the sound bank. So drag from those tabs. Ensure that the media column buttons are unchecked. You should now have the following. Once done, close that window. Then save everything and we are good to go. You can close Wwise at this point though. I left it in the background just for personal preference purposes. Nice work. Now that Wwise is all set up, let's go to Creation Kit for step 4. This is where we're gonna link it all together in game, make our script, and ultimately play our custom sound for our mod. So do something once our character finally starts sneaking. Here, spawning our adoring fan wart with 40 cryo grenades and playing our custom sound. So Wart Destroyer 40 or WD40. For part A, we need to make sure that CK appropriately links up to Wwise. Go to your game folder and check if you have a Creation Kit custom INI file. If not, create that text file and place the following code, which sets the path to your Starfield Wwise project. Ensure the file path matches your Wwise Starfield project file. For part B, open CK and then click File, Save Plugin to make your mod. Ensure the name matches your sound bank, keeping that naming convention that I mentioned before. Then go to File, Data, and double-click on starfield.esm to load in-game data. Only pick that for now since you cannot monetize your mod if you decide to do so if you include any other dependencies. Click OK and it'll take a bit of time for game data to load. For part C, we'll make our sound accessible in CK. Expand the audio button on the toolbar and click Build Sound Bank for active file. We need to make sure that our sound files don't overwrite the base game sound files. And that's because generating our sound bank will also create a default sound bank file for the starfield.esm file, which we have to delete. So go to the folder on the screen and delete the files ending with 91 as shown, which are those base game sound files. And if you don't do this, the base game sounds like NPC voices will not work. Back in CK, reload Wwise data on the audio drop-down menu to avoid duplicate entries. For part D, we're going to make a Wwise event entry which will enable us to play our sound. Under the audio tab in the object window, click on the Wwise event box and then right-click under the entries and create a new entry. Give it a name to make it easily referenced, and I chose _mod WD by Vectera. Set the start event to your Wwise sound, which should show up on the list, and then click OK. For part E, we are now going to make our script. Scripting is my happy place because most of my mods do accomplish things using this tool. In the object window, enter player in the text filter and then click the all entry to search through all game entries. Then scroll through to find the player entry. Double click it to expand it and then click the add button next to the scripts box as shown. double click the new script button on the next page to make a new script, and then name it something convenient like WD Shed 40, and then click OK. Close the properties screen, which we'll edit in a minute. For part F, we're going to first set the properties for our mod. Scripting can take a bit of time to figure out how to accomplish exactly what you want. For this video, we're going to start basic, but also show you some more complex code. Ultimately, I recommend experimenting with it. If you want help, leave a comment and I'm happy to help you out since scripting is where I am most experienced. So double click on your script. We need 3 properties that link to game objects: the adoring fan, your Wwise sound, and grenades. Click Add Property and find the category that your entities will be under, giving them a name to make them referenceable in the code, and then click OK. The adoring fan is type actor base, the Wwise sound is Wwise event, and the grenade is projectile. Click on each and pick the object that you want for them. For the adoring fan, we chose Crew Elite Adoring Fan. After all that, click OK. For part G, we'll make our script do exactly what we want. Right-click on your script and then select Edit Source. You should see your script with the properties in place. Since we want to make something happen when our character does something, we'll make an event. You can refer to the video description for a resource that lists all the events and functions on GitHub. We want the event on sneaking, so paste that in. Put the text end event a few lines after that. I also added more complex code, and I show here in the screenshot a different event that has some parameters just so you can kind of see what to do with more complicated events. To play the sound that you imported, which is the purpose of this tutorial, we need to use the appropriate function. So search for play on that GitHub page and you'll find the function under the entries for Wwise events. In the parameters, or the additional entries that we give this function, we need to pass an actor that will be where the sound is coming from. So go back to your script and pass in an actor for that first argument, which can be the player or another actor. So you can have the following at the end of it all for my code, but if you wanted to play it at the player, you just change what I put there between the parentheses to game.getPlayer open parentheses close parentheses. Then save your script using Control S and it will make sure that everything is coded properly, and then you click OK on the player window to save what you've done and then save your mod. Step 5 is where we test. Launch the game and enable your mod in creations as I show here. Then load a save, start sneaking, and appreciate what you did. Don't forget to like and subscribe, considering supporting me on Patreon with a link in the video description. Starfield modding is full of opportunities and it keeps growing. If you have any ideas that you'd like help with, let me know in the video comments. I am always happy to help you brainstorm, and especially happy to help you out with this content, particularly if it's scripting related. Huge thanks to GhostRider231, Old Bard, Odd Little Turtle, Paints, and Joseph Russell, all of whom I reached out to or referred to their content to help make this video possible, all of which I've linked in the video description. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and consider joining my Patreon. Starship out.
Vectera!